Hello there. All right, this is our first video. This is our review on Birds of Prey, or as it's now called, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, since it hasn't been doing very well in theaters, as you all may know. It has been a week since release, and it's been a week since we've watched it, and we're going to share our thoughts and our opinions and everything on it. So yeah, and we're huge comic book fans. I collect toys. I mean, I enjoyed this film. Like, I love this film so much. Like, the merch and everything. And I even had to go out and get the latest issue of Harley Quinn. I mean, I've loved her since the animated series. So, yes, I mean, it's a little bit biased, or my opinion's a little bit biased on the character. I love the character immensely. I did not like that they overly sexualized her in Suicide Squad and in recent comics, too. The reason why I'm wearing the mask right now is because I'm portraying Black Mask, because I don't have a black mask. And so what was your initial thoughts on the film?
Okay, so right after we watched it, first thing I said to you was that the action sequences were amazing. They were so good. The way that they filmed them, the wide angle shots that they did, you could see everything that was happening in the entire scene. Background characters, everyone, everything. And the stunts that they did were so not complicated, but what's the word I'm looking for?
They utilized the set.
Yeah.
Like, the sets very well. You know
everything
what I'm saying? Like,
them.
Not to spoil anything, but it's like...
Potential spoilers, obviously. Don't watch a review. If you don't want to know what happens.
Of course, if you don't want to go in blindly, don't watch reviews. But, like, for example, like, when it's raining or, like, it's not raining. It's
in the
like,
jail scene?
Yes,
when the water's...
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, everything is just utilized perfectly. I love it. It comes to no surprise, especially since they used one of the stunt directors from John Wick. So right. You see that action. You see, like, everything that came from that. You know what I mean? Like, when people are saying that it looks like a John Wick film, it really does. It's nice. It's beautiful.
Not to mention, too, like, most of the superhero movies that we've seen, a lot of the fighting and action sequences, there's a lot of CGI, and there isn't in this film. They do everything, and none of it is faked out just to make it look comic booky or to make it look superhero. It's like all of Harley's fight scenes, it's her, or the stunt double, but it's her doing them. It's realistic. It's, wow, yeah, she could be doing that right now. That's the Harley we know. It's not like weird, crazy shit, her flying out of things. Like, how would that even happen? You know what I mean?
It was a visual spectacle. It definitely was. You know what I'm saying? They the color palette and everything that they used, it was just amazing. I got my notes, that's why I'm looking down. One of the pros and cons was the fact that it's like everything is going through like Harley Quinn's eyes or her brain, you know what I mean? So everything is like, you know, all confusing and everything. She goes back and forth at time. So at times that kind of gives you a little bit of fatigue. It didn't do so much with me personally, but it was getting to that point. So thank God that they didn't do that more.
Yeah, they only did it like there's a sequence where you're going through, you're like, okay, this is happening, and then Harley's like, oh, in order for this to make sense, I have to bring you back, and you get rewound back again in order for you to keep going in the story, and it kind of breaks you out of it a little bit. They only do it the one time, thankfully, like he was saying, because if they kept doing that, it would have gotten old.
So, another thing that I really did not like with the film was the fact that some of the characters didn't get developed. And I mean, that goes back to the fact of why it's being called Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, because the Birds of Prey were never, like, they're in there, and they get there at the end, but...
It's literally like the last
exactly.
15 minutes
It's
of
not.
the film.
Yeah, it's not a Birds of Prey movie. It really isn't. and that really hurt the film a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the reason why there's so much backlash is also because of Suicide Squad. And I know people are trying to say that it's because of the R rating, but I mean, after the Joker, come on, really, it can't be the R rating.
Yeah. I agree. I really think that Suicide Squad kind of hurt it. Harley Quinn was the kind of breakout star in that movie, which is why they had a green light to make a movie about her or for her. But I think a lot of people expected this movie to kind of bomb in a way that Suicide Squad did, so they just didn't come out for it.
Yeah, especially with the last slate of films, you know. It doesn't make sense because Shazam was really good, so I thought more people would come out to go see
true.
this. We went opening night, and we went all the way to IMAX in Danbury, and it was definitely not packed.
Yeah, there was like a lot of empty seats.
Yeah, there was maybe like 10 other people, if that's
that.
Yeah, exactly. We were not expecting that. We definitely were not expecting that. Another thing I gotta say, the actors in this, they portrayed those characters very, very well, exceedingly well. I especially loved Ewan McGregor. I mean, obviously, that's why I'm like being Black Mass right now. He was amazing. He was superb. Like he was great. For me, he was like the highlight of the film, and I really liked the dynamic between him and Victor Zsasz. I loved it. A lot of people are, including yourself, have been telling me that that's not really the Victor Zsasz that they like. But I like the way that Chris Messina, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing his name. I never heard it out loud, and I suck at like pronouncing names and stuff like that. It's just, but I like the way that he portrayed him. That's all I'm gonna say. I liked how weird and crazy and eccentric he was in playing the role.
I have to say, the dynamic between him and Ewan McGregor was great. It was unexpected. It's kind of wild. And the way that they interact with each other and with other characters with each other is just kind of like, I want to say old best friends that do whatever they want and don't really care about what other people say or think, and they just care about each other. But it's true that Zsasz is not my favorite take on that character. If anyone's watched Gotham, he's my favorite. That actor is so good. I love that portrayal of him. In Gotham, he's more focused. I mean, he's still like, he's a fucking henchman and he's like hired to kill type guy, but he's more focused in what he does and he's aware of what he's doing and he doesn't really do stuff unless he wants to do it, you know what I mean? And in this, Zsasz is a lot crazier, but I really feel like they dumbed him down too much, almost to a fault, and that was just my personal take. I really felt like they had him be too, not stupid, because that's not the word I'm looking for, but just kind of out there. And not in a good way.
A little bit incompetent, and that's so before I even get to more negatives, I want to stick with the characters. Huntress.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's go through the characters hot quick.
Yeah. She was not utilized at all.
They could have kept her out of the movie and it wouldn't have affected the movie at all for me. I still would have enjoyed it. It could have been better because when the movie ended, I was like, what was the point of Huntress? Why? They didn't need her. And what honestly, what bothered me was that they put her in there and kind of just made her a joke. Everything that she said and did, they kind of made jokes out of, and it almost turned into I'd rather not even have her there than have her there just to be a punchline, you know what I mean? The setup for her was good, but the way the actress is great, but the way that they
I really like Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, she's great, but I feel like they didn't utilize her at all. I mean, she had funny lines, but that was it. She was just kind of there as an extra, as a punchline. And even the scenes where she's supposed to be really badass and everything, it kind of detracts
I
from
feel like
that.
she was like Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
That's kind of how they
Yeah, that's
utilized
the character that they made for her, which sucks
Which,
because when
yeah.
the lineup they put for her whole story arc, like, it's fucking badass.
Yeah, it really is.
Her spoilers, her whole family gets murdered in front of her. She gets taken away, becomes like a super extra fucking
Assassin.
yeah,
Yeah.
a crazy assassin, comes back to avenge her whole family's death and get like righteous justice.
But that's where they get the comedy from, because it's like she doesn't have social skills. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
which makes sense, but God, it kind of killed it.
But
for
yeah,
me.
but that's the thing. They just used her as a joke. I really liked Rosie Perez's character, Renee Montoya, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just like her as an actor. She's phenomenal. She always plays a lady cop very well.
True, she's always a lady cop.
Yeah, for some reason. Pineapple Express. That's another movie. Also Black Canary. I really loved her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like they could have done a lot more. They mentioned certain things about her mother.
Yeah.
You know, they could have done so much more with her, but I liked what they did with her.
True. And
you know
like we
saying?
said, this movie was a Harley Quinn movie.
Yes.
So the other characters didn't get the type of development that they could have. Like, Montoya ends up in the comics becoming Question, which that could lead to something, we don't know. And Black Canary, the actress, fantastic. Her fight scenes, all of her interactions with everyone, so good. So with her, like, just her few scenes, whatever, from the movie, I would want to see a movie just about her, with just her in it. Because of how strong of a character she was and how well she played the character. Like, watching that made me want to see more from her. And as we were watching the movie, I kept hoping that her and Harley would have more scenes together, just because the scenes that they had were so good. And I don't know if it's because of the characters, the way that they interacted, or their chemistry, or what, but Black Canary was great.
Okay, so went through them. What's another character that we can talk about?
Oh.
I love the hyena. Underutilized.
Very. Only
very,
if you're going in
underutilized.
hoping that that's going to pop up a lot, it doesn't. It comes in strong and then leaves and never comes again till the end.
It was very on the nose for her hyena to be named Bruce, because in the animated series they had different names. I'm totally like blanking out on what their names were, and she had two, but I thought it was alright. The whole Bruce thing,
yeah,
it was okay.
They changed it. It was still funny.
Trying to think of other characters. I think are we done with the characters right now?
We can be.
I mean, let's go back, because we didn't say the main character.
Oh, yeah.
Harley Quinn.
Also that.
So, I mean, there's not much to be said. I mean, if you've already seen Suicide Squad, you already know Margot Robbie's great as the character. She plays her very well. I didn't notice if she like messed up on the accent or anything like that.
Okay, so if you watched Suicide Squad and you hated her accent, same. This one was better. She didn't try so hard to do a Brooklyn,
New Jersey accent.
New York, New Jersey. I don't know what she was trying to do. It was a whole mix of mess, but she didn't do that here. She had like a little bit of an accent, but it wasn't so heavy that it sounded bad. You know what I mean? It fit for the character. And Suicide Squad, it pulled me out of the movie. Every time she talked, I was like, oh my God, what is this? In this movie, it doesn't happen. She sounds normal. She sounds like she should, which I was worried about that actually going into it, but it was fine.
All right, now we're going to go into, well, I was going to say something else about the characters, but that's a huge spoiler. It was something that I really didn't like.
Oh.
So, spoilers. Okay, so, I did not appreciate, and I don't know why comic book movies tend to do this all the time, where they always kill the villains. I don't understand that, because in the comic books they don't die, so that's why they always end up coming back.
They spring back again.
Yeah, exactly. And
who knows when we'll see them again?
Exactly, and that was one of my biggest issues with this. Like, I was really holding my breath, because they kind of like not kill the character, well, Black Mask, since we're already at spoilers, like, they don't kill him, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool, so they're not gonna kill him, and then they do, and then I'm just like, oh, great.
Oh, never mind.
That
Guess we won't
sucks.
see them again.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes me think maybe they expected this movie and some of the characters within it just to be a throwaway, or that they weren't gonna revisit it, which is weird because they had some Easter eggs in the movie that trailed back to Suicide Squad, which left you to believe, like, oh, okay. We're spoiling everything anyway, but I was gonna say,
well, I already mentioned spoilers, so the people like that were watching the beginning of the video,
if you haven't trailed off yet, that's your own
exactly.
fault. There's a scene where Harley is in the police station and she sees a wanted poster for someone, and
Captain Boomerang,
and she says, like, oh, I know him, or something along those lines. And that makes you think, like, oh, okay, he's out. He's not in prison anymore. And he's in Gotham. So how did he get there? What is he doing? Does that mean something?
Well, see, the thing is that this is part of the DCEU, and that's one thing that I don't comprehend, why they wouldn't keep those villains, because those are Batman villains, you know, they're essential Batman villains. So it makes no sense just killing them off.
And they
you know?
show, like, Zaz, depending on, I mean, all of it is kind of depending on what comics you're reading, in what time, in whatever. So different characters show up at different times with different people. So when they kill them off, especially in movies, it's a lot harder to just bring them back. Where, like, in comics, you can kill someone off and it's like, oh, well, that was just that line. We're revamping it. This is a new line, a new Batman, a new whatever, a new alternate timeline.
We could throw in a crisis. We can throw a new
retcon that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when it comes to the movies, it's so much harder to do that. And I know for me, when they kill off people and then they, you know, like, oh, we went back in time and they're back now.
That's one thing that they executed very well with the Dark Knight trilogy. Was the fact that they kept, like, you know, you watch Dark Knight Rises, that's the last one. You see Scarecrow, which he was, you know, the big baddie in the first one, you know what I'm saying? They would have had Joker too if it wasn't for Heath Ledger's
and that was with the Dark Knight. They left it open so that he could appear again. And then, I mean, obviously he passed away, so that wasn't going to happen.
Exactly.
But with those movies, they left them open to reappear if they needed them to or wanted them to. And I feel like that helps with the continuity of tying all the movies together when you do have reappearances like that, because it's like, oh, hey, they're back. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could just be a small thing.
Exactly.
A small cameo. And you're like, oh, yeah, there they are. I mean, in terms of the movie itself, we haven't even talked about, like, the plot, really. But the movie itself, it starts off with Harley and her being upset because her and the Joker have broken up, and it's for good this time, and her not knowing what to do and trying to figure out who she is, what she wants, because she hasn't been alone. I mean, she became Harley Quinn with the Joker, and so that's the identity she's had for so long, and she's trying to deal with that, and she's dealing with the repercussions of being Joker's girl. So if they aren't together anymore, what happens to her? And that's a big part of the story. That's a big part of the Black Mask story too, because she's fucked with him a lot with Joker. And now that she isn't with Joker, Black Mask is like, oh, she's up for grabs. I fucking want her. And not in a good way. And so she's trying to deal with that. She gets tied up with Black Mask. And then we have Black Canary, who is working as a singer in his club. And then you have Cassandra Cain, who ends up in this is a younger girl who's a neighbor to Black Canary and is a pickpocket. Like, they show her family really doesn't give a shit about her. She's always on her own. She's a pickpocket. She's just out to do whatever she has to do to help herself. And the story basically goes from weird instances of them all kind of meeting each other in different spots and then it all colliding together. Cassandra Cain steals a diamond. It's a lot.
It is.
She steals a diamond from Zaz that Zaz and Canary were getting for Black Mask because the diamond belonged to Huntress's family, and that has the entire family fortune engraved in digits for their whatever bank accounts in the Caymans type shit. It's
so the
kind
plot,
of a wild plot
it's
stitched together. It's not bad, but you can tell that it was kind of
The plot wasn't important, honestly.
No, it wasn't.
The
And
plot wasn't important.
that's why describing it, like, right now I feel dumb trying to describe it, because it's like, really,
Because
that was the plot for
the
it?
plot is one of those, like, oh, someone stole my diamond, I gotta go get it, or this other person's trying to get it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a plot device to bring
And
all the characters together,
honestly,
which is fine.
As I was thinking about it, the movie itself, when you go into it, if you expect just to have a fun time, that's exactly what you're going to get. If you expect it to be a hard, plot-driven, character growth, crazy arcs, it's not that. It's not meant to be that either. It's supposed to be fun. And as I was saying to him, after we had watched it, that this movie feels like a comic book issue. Like he was saying, like, oh, it's someone took a diamond, we have to get it back. Like, it's a little story within itself. It's not meant to be this crazy big thing. I mean, it could spin off into other stuff, which is cool. They left a lot of stuff open, but it really is just meant to be like a fun story to showcase the characters, mostly Harley. And I think if you go into it thinking about it that way, it's a fucking great movie. The action sequences are fantastic. The costume design is so good.
Yes.
The
agreed.
woman who worked on it, the main costume designer, Erin Benick, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her last name. She worked on the movie Drive, which I don't know if you guys have watched that. You should. It's fantastic. And the costume designs in that are amazing too. Everything is very bright and colorful, but also badass and functional. Each character's look is different. It's not like you have real similar outfits or looks. Each character, you can tell what their style is, and they did a good job of keeping, like, giving them their own looks, keeping it to the story, and making it fun, and making each scene work. Like, Harley has a lot of costume changes in this, and all of them fit her, even though they're all different. Which is why, like, with the Pops, there's so many different Pops, because she has so many costume changes. Not in a bad way. But in each one, I honestly feel like they did a lot of changes to help with the action scenes and the big sequences, and it's good that they did, because everything came together so well. And speaking of, like, bright colors and pops of color, all of the action scenes are dark but so bright. There's one scene in particular where she's going into the police station, and she has this paintball. It's a gun, and the gun shoots out these little grenades, and some of them have colorful paint, some of them have huge pockets of glitter. So she's shooting all these cops down, not killing them, but there's just big pockets of glitter everywhere, big pockets of different colors, and it's so beautiful but so funny. It's very Harley, because it's silly, but it's effective. She's fucking taking people down with this stupid gun that just has, like, colored grenades and sparkle grenades, but it looks so good. And you can tell that when they did it, they didn't have a lot of, like, cutscene. It's like they fucking shot the thing through, and everything looks so good. It's amazing.
So let me ask you a question. Did you think that they needed the R rating? Did they utilize the R rating?
I feel like yes and no. It's not so much, like, a lot of R ratings you get from language and gore, and there's not, like, crazy amounts of bloodshed, but when there are, it's like, oh wow, that whole person just exploded into pieces.
So I do love the fact that they could do whatever they wanted. You know, she could say whatever she wanted.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was free range. So that I did appreciate. I did like the action, you know what I'm saying? Did they really need to push it to be rated R?
I really don't think so.
I don't think so either, though I did appreciate it. I mean, they obviously could have just, you know, insinuated certain things, like,
yeah,
since we already said spoilers, like, for example, Victor Vass cutting off people's faces, they could have just implied that and not have to actually show anything.
Yeah.
But I was totally fine with that, like you know,
it helped
I
to
like
showcase Zaz's character of him being a fucking
exactly.
assassin.
But I feel like this movie they could have pushed to be PG-13. Suicide Squad, that needed to be rated R. One thing that I really felt that they needed was just a little bit of Jared Leto in it, or like, I know you don't like Jared Leto, but I'm saying, like, they needed, think about it, like, the whole fact that throughout this whole film we're talking about how, I'm just going to take this off now. The whole the whole thing is all about how she's trying to get over the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's honestly,
and
that's what this movie is
yeah,
about.
exactly.
It's not about the Birds of Prey, which them changing it to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, makes sense. It's about her, and it's her trying to figure stuff out and everything that happens from that.
So I felt like they should have had him a little bit more. I mean, you see like
Glimpses.
Yeah, exactly, and mentions
really
of him,
but
they didn't exactly, and that's all I had to say. That's one of my complaints about that. Are you ready to hit the big elephant in the room?
Oh.
Or
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so the thing that I really disliked most about this film and what's hitting it so much backlash, which honestly, before watching this film, I didn't hear anything about what was going on, like the marketing and everything, is all this man hate. You know, I don't understand that. Like, it was just totally ridiculous. And in the film, it was like every male had to be either an asshole or incompetent. I mean, down to even this one Asian dude that was, you know, taking care of Harley. He sold her out at the end. And it's like, what
and it was like, just business stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Like not every man has to be portrayed as like a villain. It's
this issue that storytelling has sometimes, where people don't know how to portray a concept without it being a hard left or hard right, and it detracted from the movie, honestly, because it was like every single, and maybe that's part of why the Zaz character didn't work for me. I felt like they dumbed him down so much, and he's not like, he's crazy, but he's an assassin, and he's in the movie, it like, he thought he was great. So honestly, it's a personal opinion thing. But he felt.
But I also didn't see Gotham like that. I saw the last 2 seasons.
And like reading comics and stuff, everything's going to be different. And it depends on who writes it, who portrays it, if it's in a film or TV. But it's true. All of the male characters, all of the cops that Renee works with are assholes or stupid. All of the men that all of the women interact with are
they're all misogynist.
Yeah, misogynist.
That's really it.
Or assholes or stupid. And if you want to do one or two, sure. But when you make every single person that way, it almost makes it feel like it's just a cheap shot, if that makes sense.
It felt like a check. You know what I'm saying?
Like
it felt like they were
off a different box to sell the movie for people. Like, oh, women empowerment. All the men are dumb, and it's like, DC can do it.
Exactly. It's like DC, dude. You made Wonder Woman, and you know they still had what's his name, Steve, right? I think that's his name. Yeah. Anyway, they still had him as like risking his life for her and doing shit. Like, even though he wasn't, you know, powerful, he wasn't, you know, super strong or anything like that.
He never questioned how, like, he saw how powerful she was, and he was like, yes, no, we're gonna follow her. Don't follow me, follow her.
Exactly. So it's like,
we know that DC can make a film that's a female empowerment without being like, all men are stupid. See how great women are, and it's like, it doesn't do any good for the actual movement. It just.
It really distracts because I, like, as soon as the credits rolled up, I turned to her and I was like, was it just me?
Why was every man an idiot in the movie?
Yeah,
it was like, yeah, kind of.
And especially being a male, spending $35 to go see this movie, because I paid for myself and for her, and also gas and going all the way, like, almost like 40 minutes away just to watch. Yeah, just to watch it in IMAX.
I mean, that's
and whatnot.
Our own choice, but whatever.
Yeah, but you get my point. Like, I'm spending my money on it. I love the merch and everything in it, and it just, like, it was such a low blow. It was like, whoa.
It felt like a lame, I don't know. Like, obviously, DC knows how to do it. They did it in Wonder Woman, where they can showcase powerful women without it being like, oh, she's powerful because they're all dumb. And it's just, oh, she's powerful, end of story.
And now I also feel like, because of how poorly the movie's doing, they're using that as an excuse. Yeah. And it's like, you should have marketed like that, because I even noticed on YouTube, I watched a video of Ewan McGregor on, I think it was like Jimmy Fallon or something like that, I forget. But
late night talk shows.
Exactly, and he was also like,
oh, I'm glad
about...
that I got to be the misogynistic asshole that they beat up.
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
And I was like, oh, bro. And that was the other thing too. His character is wild, and the way that he plays him is...
He's the worst.
Yeah, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
And he plays him really crazy, but it's fun, so it works.
You could tell he had fun playing. That's
Absolutely.
That's like the thing about the characters and the actors here.
Each actor,
they had fun,
playing
and that's
it.
why
And
I
comes
really
across.
enjoyed this film.
Yeah, that's
Like,
part
it
of the
was
reason why we
freaking
enjoyed it so
fantastic.
much. You could
Yeah.
tell that they loved the character that they played, and they played it fucking hard. And they went in, and they really made the characters their own. But even with his character, he was wild and crazy, but they also made him a little bit dumb. And it's like, how is such a powerful criminal mastermind? Yeah, I mean, they explained some of the stuff that's happening in it, that he's like a daddy's boy type thing, his parents have paid for everything, blah blah blah, etc. But it makes no sense to me in movies when they have a character who's this criminal mastermind, is so powerful, people are so scared of them, but then they have them be crazy and stupid, but like stupid dumb, if that makes sense. Because it's like, how does anyone take them seriously? How have they gotten to this point in their lives and in their reputation and act like little dumb crybabies? Like, what? How does that make any sense? Or like with Zaz, how has he been all of these like hired henchmen, assassins for people if he's stupid? You know, no one would want to hire him if he's dumb. He wouldn't have lasted this long if he was dumb.
So, one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video, especially right now, is because of how poorly this movie's doing, and I really just want to push for people to watch it because I enjoyed it so much.
It was so good.
And I really hope that they do another one or something similar to this. And from what I've heard, DC kind of froze everything right now. I don't know if that's completely true because you know how rumors are and the internet, and you can't believe everything.
True.
But I say go watch it. I say go watch it, especially if you listen throughout this entire
30 minutes of us
exactly. I really feel like you should watch it, give it a chance, you know what I'm saying?
If you want to go to the movies and have a fun time and watch fun and funny action sequences, watch this movie. It's good. You don't have to, it's not something you have to focus crazy on the plot or anything.
It's like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
But for girls.
If you want, but for girls who love to fuck shit up. If you want to see a bunch of chicks being badass and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in their crazy lives, watch this. It's funny. It's funny. It's action-packed. And I can't stop saying it, but the action sequences were so fucking good. And they had a bunch of them. This movie really, like, from start to end,
it pushed the envelope.
Yeah, and it was constantly moving. I really can't think of a time, maybe a little bit in the beginning when Harley's doing her voiceover and talking about her and Joker. It starts off slow, but it's, like, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it just fucking goes, and it keeps going the whole time. And I can't think of a moment where I wasn't like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? You know what I mean? It was fun.
So, what is your rating on this? From like, I guess 1 to 5,
1 to 5,
or even like a letter score or whatever, like school wise.
Yeah. Let's get old school on this. I would say I'm gonna do it, numerically, I guess.
Okay.
I would give this movie, realistically, out of 5, like a 4 out of 5, or maybe like a 3.8 out of 5. I wouldn't say, I feel like I need to grade it harsher, because otherwise I'd be giving 5s to fucking everything, just because I'm like, it was a cinematic adventure, it was so good. But I would say a high 3, low 4 out of 5 for me, personally.
Okay, agreed. I say like a 3.5, definitely. Almost a 4. It's like, it had its faults, but I just had so much...
It definitely does. Like we were saying, don't go into it expecting it to be some hardcore plot where you're going to watch it and be like, wow, this this is amazing. It can trail off into
but that's
all
the
of these
thing.
movies.
That's why I'm grading it so high on it, because it's not meant to be an Oscar nominated film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
meant to be a fun...
it's like you can't grade Fast and Furious or something like of that, you know, aspect.
It's different than Oscar nominated.
Yeah, it's completely it's hitting a different demographic. It's
Absolutely.
not trying to contend for that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And the acting's not gonna be, not that the acting shouldn't be good, but it's just like it's not gonna hit, you know, Johnny Depp or Joaquin
Leonardo
Phoenix
DiCaprio,
or level. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not a Martin Scorsese film
Yeah.
or a Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah.
Which I'm not trying to dumb this down, but it's like that's what I'm trying to say. Like 3.5. You know what I'm saying?
In terms of comic book movies and action movies, this is one of the most fun.
It felt like it popped
Yes.
out of the page.
Literally, metaphorically, emotionally, everything.
Especially for a Harley Quinn story.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's why they changed the name now. It's Harley Quinn.
It's a Harley Quinn
and the
movie.
Birds of Prey.
It's definitely a Harley Quinn movie with some other people that you get introduced to. There was something else I wanted to mention about it. Oh, okay. So another reason why it's so great, really quickly, the acting, the costumes, the design, the action sequences, and the soundtrack for it.
Oh,
so good.
Yes.
We've been listening to the soundtrack for this quite a bit in the last week. There are so many good songs, and they picked the perfect songs for the sequences.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even describe it. And it all comes together so well. The colors, the action, the costumes, the music, everything links together so beautifully, which is why that movie was so freaking good. It's fun. It's a fun movie. And I feel like if you go into it and don't have fun, it's because you went into it wanting to hate it.
True.
Because it's honestly, it's such a fun film.
All right, well, that's our review.
40 minutes of us rambling, and it's our first video!
Yay.
Yay!
Alright, so you guys have a great day. Live your dreams, and remember to
live your
dreams. What a day to be alive.
Yeah, what a day.